Hello friends, in this video I am going to show you the filter, map and reduce functions in Python programming language. To separate out the particular group of data from a sequence, we will use filter method, while for performing the mapping of operations in particular sequence, we will use map function. If we want to reduce any sequence, then we will use reduce functions. All these three functions are used along with lambda function for precise coding. I have explained lambda in earlier video. If we will look at the syntax of the filter function, then the filter has the two arguments, where one argument is the function and the second argument is the sequence for which we are going to apply filtering method. As you can see, I have shown you the filter function with lambda and without lambda function. So you can see that how the lambda function is useful for the concise coding. Here we are using here I have shown you the example in which we are finding the number which are divisible by 3 from a sequence. So we will filter out the numbers which are divisible by 3 and we will create a new list of that elements using filter method. So let me show you practically. You can see X is the sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 9 elements. I have defined a function divisible with argument A. Inside this function I am written the conditions whether A is divisible by 3 or not. If A modulo 3 is equal to 0, then this function will return true, else it will return false. So we will use filter function in which the function will always return either true or false. Now we have written y is equal to list so that the resultant elements will come in a form of list. And we have used filter into the bracket divisible, which is the name of the function, comma x, which is the sequence, and we will print y. So let's check this code, save this code and run module. So you can see friends, there are total 9 elements. Out of these 9 elements, only 3 elements, 3, 6 and 9 are divisible by 3, which is printed in the form of list. If you want these elements in the form of tuple, then you can write tuple here, save code and run module. You can see the output is printed in the form of tuple. Now let me show you the same code using the lambda function. So as we have inputted the sequence x with the elements 1 to 9, I will directly write lambda into the bracket with argument, no bracket, lambda argument a, only one argument is there, and the expression is a modulo 3 is equal to 0. And we are going to apply this lambda function along with filter, and this divisible by 3 elements of the sequence x. So this is the filter function, okay. It will find out the divisible by 3 elements from the x, and we will save these elements in one object say Z this time. So we'll save these elements in form of list. And save it to Z. Print Z. Save the code. Run module. So you can see the previous one, the tuple 3, 6, 9 is printed, and the second time list of 3, 6 and 9, which list with 3, 6 and 9 element is printed. So this is how we can use filter method. Now friends, next one is the map. So if we will look at the syntax of the map, then we have to write map into the bracket function comma sequence. Here the function will provide the modified sequence in the input. As the map is used for mapping the sequence, so all the elements will be modified of the sequence. Here we will see the function in which we want to multiply all the elements of a sequence with 3. So first we will find out the mapping without lambda function, and then in second case we will use lambda function for with map function. So our sequence will remain same, where x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So total 9 elements are there in the sequence. Now we want to multiply all the elements by 3. Let me create a new file where x is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we will define a function with name mul, which is used for multiplication with multiplication by 3, for example. So this function will return the value which is multiplied by 3. All the elements will be multiplied by 3. Now we will use an object y is equal to map into the bracket. The first argument is the function, which is mul, and now we want to apply this function to the sequence x. So comma, we will write this sequence, which is x. Now we want this result of this mapping in form of list, so we will write list. And then we can print the value of y. So you can see friends, all the elements of the sequence x will be multiplied by 3, and this is the way we will map all the elements of this sequence x. Mapping.py, the name of this file, and I am saving this code. Let's run this module. So you can see friends, all the 9 elements, the first elements 1 multiplied by 3, that is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 and 27 are printed. If we want the output in the form of tuple, then we can write tuple before this mapping operation. Save the code, run module. So all the result sequence y is printed in the form of tuple. So this was the mapping without lambda. Now let me show you how the lambda is useful with mapping function. So we will write lambda code first. Lambda, there is only one argument, so we will write one argument a. So a multiplied by 3. Now this lambda is one argument of the map, so we will write map into bracket. This is the first argument, and the second argument is the sequence, which is x. Now we want this mapping in form of list, so we will write list before this mapping operation, and now we will allocate this whole operation to the sequence z. So the result will be stored in variable z, and we can print the values of z. Save the code, run module. So you can see, friends, all the elements are printed in the form of list. So this is the difference. This is the general method and this is the lambda method. Okay. Now let's look about the reduce function. You can see the reduce is used for perform the operations like reduction. For example, if we want the addition of 1 to 100, then we will use the reduce function for easiness of the code. But if we want to use this reduce function, we have to require to import functools. So functools module is required while we are going to use the reduce in our Python program. So here it is shown that the coding, okay, in which we have not used reduce function, and in this code on the second side we have used the reduce function, in which there is a sequence of x which contains the elements 1, 5, 7 and 11. We want to find out the product of all these elements. So at first we have applied for loop to find out the product of all the elements. On the second way, we have used the reduce method to find out the product of all the elements of this sequence. Here also lambda is used along with the reduce function. So let me show you this function in a new file. We have sequence x which contains the value 1, 5, 7, 11 and 13. Initially, the product we have to consider is 1. Now for each element I in sequence x, we will write product is equal to product multiplied by I. And then we will print product. So friends, what we have done, we are going to multiply all the elements of the sequence x and we want to print the result which is stored in products. So let's check by saving the code. Reduce.py is my code. Run the module. There is some error. Let's close. Run module. So you can see 5005 is printed. So which is the multiplication of all these elements 1, 5, 7, 11 and 13. So the same code again we will print, but this time we will not use this for loop and this for loop to find out the product, but now we are going to use the reduce method. So for that we have to write the instruction reduce, into the bracket we will use lambda function, as there are two elements, so a comma b, and two arguments a and b, and the operation is a multiplied by b will be performed in the sequence x, so we will write x inside. Now the result will be stored in the variable y. Now as we have used this reduce keyword here, so we have to import one function. That function is, so you can write here also, functools import reduce. So from functools, which is the module from which the reduce we have to import. So save the code and then we will print the result. Save code and run module. So you can see we have got 5005 as the output from this second method. So let me write one more example in which I am going to find out the summation of all the elements from 1 to 100. So initially sum is equal to 0. First of all I will write without reduce method, so for each element in the range 1 to 100, so I will write 101, so 100 up to 100 will be count, and I want to find out the summation of all the elements, sum plus j, and we will print the resultant sum. So here we will get the summation of all the elements from 1 to 100. Save the code as we will run the module. You can see 5050, which is the summation of all the elements from 1 to 100. It is printed at the third line. Now we will find out this summation using reduce method. So we will use lambda along with the reduce method. So for that, see, we have already imported this reduce from functools function. Okay, so now no need to write out that no need to import the same function again. So we will directly use the reduce code. So we can also write z is equal to reduce lambda p comma q. We want to find out the summation, so p plus q of range 1 to 100. We are using 101, so 101 will not be considered, so it will be go up to 100. So then we will print z. So here we will save the code, run the module. You can see the fourth line is printed 5050, which is the result of this line. So since it is only one line code, okay, you can also write directly, you can print out print the result. Okay, so directly the result will be printed, which is the addition from 1 to 100. So this is how reduce method is used. You can see, friends. But keep in mind, whenever we are going to use reduce, we have to import functools.